Good morning, dear students. Welcome to my channel, Patel Science Academy. As you know, this is Shahzad sir, and this is my Patel Science Academy. I welcome you in the third number lecture from the chapter Enhancement of Food Production. So, dear students, at the end of this lecture, you will be able to know about the two topic from this chapter. Number one, biofortification, and number two, SCP, that is single cell protein. So its different steps and its objectives and its uses you will be able to know at the end of this lecture. So dear students, let's start the very first technique, that is called biofortification. What do you mean by biofortification, and what is the use of this biofortification in the biotechnology? Dear students, biofortification, this word, it is made up of two words. Number one, bios, and number two, fortificare. So the meaning of bio is, you are familiar with the meaning of bio, it is always a life or living thing. And the second word is Latin word. Bio is the Greek word and its meaning is life, while the second word is from the Latin language, it is fortificare, and it means make strong. So biofortification, this process means it is the method of breeding the crops. Why? To increase their nutritional value. If in some variety of the crops there is not a high nutritional value of some important nutrients like the protein, vitamin, fat, etc., so by applying this biofortification technique, you can increase the nutritional value of that crop by breeding it by the biofortification method. Biofortification, actually it refers to increasing genetically and bio available minerals content of the food crops. Dear students, biofortification, it differs from the ordinary fortification because it focuses on making the plant food more nutritious as the plant are growing, rather than in having the nutrients added to the foods when they are being processed. So this is most important objective of this techniques, to breed the crops just for increasing its nutritional value. So dear students, I hope you got it. Biofortification, it is a method in which crops are breeds or produced for having the higher level of vitamins, minerals and fats for its better nutritive value. So due to this, the problem of malnutrition can be overcome, and there are different objectives of this biofortifications that we'll see later. So dear students, I hope you got about the biofortification and about its definition. uh, Biofortification, the method of processing or breeding the crops or producing the crops to increase their nutritional value, like the higher level of the vitamins, minerals and the fats, etc. So this is about the biofortification definition. Now we'll see some more important characteristics of this biofortification. Dear students, as you know, biofortification is the process of increasing the density of the vitamins and the minerals in the crops through the plant breeding or the agronomic practices, so that the biofortified crops, when it is consumed regularly, it will generate the measurable improvement in the vitamins and the minerals nutritional status. So dear students, these are that crops that can be on in that we can apply the biofortification technique. This is about the biofortification techniques. Now we'll see the different objectives or aims of the biofortification technique. Dear students, the objective includes, the objectives were considered for the breeding program, just like the protein content and the high quality, the oil content and its quality, the vitamin content, and the micronutrient content and quality to increase all that nutritional quality its content. It is the These are the different aims of this biofortification. So dear students, these are different objectives of biofortification. Now we'll see the different examples of biofortification. Biofortification's examples, it includes fortified maize having twice amount of amino acids. You can just make a small or short note of these examples. Biofortified maize has been produced which is having the twice amount of the amino acids like the lysine and the tryptophan. Lysine and tryptophans are twice in amount in this in this maize. Lysine and tryptophan, these two amino acids are there. Then the wheat example, wheat like Atlas 66 or Atlas 66 has a high protein content, and the iron fortified rice has a 5 times more content of iron are developed. Then the vegetables crops like the carrots and the spinach have more vitamin A and minerals, and the vitamin C enriched bitter gourd and tomato have been developed by the IARI. So these are some examples. The examples includes the maize having the twice amount of the lysine and tryptophan, wheat Atlas 66 high protein content, and iron fortified rice having 5 times more iron, vegetables like the carrot and spinach having the vitamin A and minerals, and vitamin C enriched bitter gourd and tomato. All these are the examples of the vegetables and fruits that has been produced by this biofortified technique. So dear students, you can see the different fruits and vegetables produced by this biofortification technique here. Two methods of the biofortification it includes. Method number 1, selective breeding. Method number 2, genetic modification. So biofortification can be achieved through the conventional selective breeding practices and also through the rDNA technology, that is genetic modification. It focuses on making the plant food more nutritive as a plant grow or develops. So about its different example I explained you in the previous slide. So dear students, now we'll see selective breeding in short, because it is not given in your chapter, but still I am in short explaining about this selective breeding. What is selective breeding? In this selective breeding, the natural in this selective breeding, the naturally high nutritious seeds or germplasm is collected, and then it is crossed in between the high yielding varieties and the high nutritious variety. So if a high yielding variety which is having the high yielding power, which produce more crop every time, and if it is cross with the another variety which is having the high nutritious value, so the cross in between these two types of plants, one having the high yielding power, another one having the high nutritious value, so these will give you the crops, that will have the high nutritious value. So likewise, by the selective breeding, you can select the particular type of the plant variety with your desirable characteristics, and you can get that desirable variety. So this is simply about the selective breeding. So high nutritious crops, you can see here the different crops like the carrots, you can see prepared by this high nutritious by this selective breeding or biofortification. Broccoli is the most certainly man-made food, and uh, actually broccoli comes from the selective breedings of the wild cabbage, that is Brassica oleracea plant. So actually this broccoli you are observing here, this is not a natural food, it is prepared by the man and it is prepared by the selective breeding. So you can see here broccoli, and you can keep in mind about this broccoli. Hybrid maize, you can see here, which is having the double quality of amino acids like lysine and tryptophan, as I told you earlier. So you can see here this hybrid maize, different hybrid maize you are observing, you are watching here, and all these maize are having the double quantity of amino acids lysine and tryptophan. Thereafter, biofortified foods, maize again. Wheat and rice variety, as I told you earlier, Atlas 66, Atlas 66 wheat, high protein content it is having. It is present in this Atlas 66 variety of this wheat. And as I told you, rice is also produced there by this biofortification technique, and that rice is having the 5 times more iron. So this is the magic of biofortification technique. IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, New Delhi. Their products includes, by the biofortification technique, they have produced the following products like the vitamin A enriched carrots and spinach and pumpkin, vitamin C enriched bitter gourd, batua, mustard, and tomato, etc. Iron and calcium enriched spinach, and protein enriched beans and garden pea. All these vegetables and fruits are produced by the IARI, that is Indian Agriculture Research Institute, which is located in Delhi. Then about the second technique of this biofortification, genetic modification, or rDNA technology. So in short, rDNA technology, the genes of Erwinia soil bacterium is selected, and then it is inserted into the rice genome, and production of the enzymes for the beta carotene, which is having the provitamin A, and golden rice, no vitamin A deficiency is produced by this genetic modification. Golden rice, genetically manipulated rice, is also produced by this technique. You can see here this picture of the golden rice. So dear students, this is about biofortification. Now I'll explain you about the next technique from this chapter, and it is single cell protein, that is abbreviated as SCP. So dear students, SCP or single cell protein, what is SCP? The term single cell protein, it refers to the total protein extracted from the pure culture of the microorganisms, that is from the yeast, algae, filamentous fungi, and the bacteria. From these microorganisms, the protein extracted, that is called a single cell protein. Actually it is a technique, and it can be used as a protein rich food supplements by the humans and the animals. It is also known as the microbial protein. So in this technique, this is a actually technique, by 2050 the world would need to produce 1.250 million tons of the meat and the dairy products per year to meet the global demand of for the animal derived protein at a current consumption level. However, growing demand for the protein will not be met sustainably by increasing the meat and the dairy production because of the low efficiency of converting feed to meat and dairy products. So moreover, human population in underdeveloped and even in the developing countries is suffering from the protein malnutrition, resulting into the variety of the nutritional diseases. To fight with this problem, the efforts are undertaken by the conventional method to increase the food yield by different methods of the crop improvement. And dear students, the use of the biofertilizers, biopesticides, chemical fertilizers, and the high yielding varieties, that is the green revolution. The efforts in other directions are also undertaken in the non-conventional way, and one of such way is the production of SCP. So this is very interesting thing. SCP, a single cell proteins. The importance of single cell protein was realized during the World War I, and single, as I told you, single cell protein or SCP is, it refers to the crude or a refined edible protein or extracted protein from the pure microbial cultures or from the dead or the dried cell biomass. So dear students, microorganisms uh, like the algae, fungi, yeast, and bacteria have very high protein content. Do you know about it? They are having very high content of the protein in their biomass. So their microbes, these microbes can be grown using the inexpensive substrate like the agriculture waste, with wood shaving, sawdust, corn cobs, paraffin, alkanes, sugarcane, molasses, even human and animal waste too. The microorganism utilizes the carbon and nitrogen present in these material and convert them into a high quality. This is a simple technique and simple phenomenon of SCP. The microorganism utilizes the carbon and nitrogen present in these materials and convert them into a high quality protein that can be used as a supplement in both the human and animal feed. Besides proteins, SCP is also rich in vitamins, vitamin B complex, minerals, and fats. The single cell protein can be readily used as a fodder for achieving the fattening of the calves, pigs, in breeding fish, and even in poultry and cattle farming too. The microorganism used for the production of the SCP, these are actually spirulina, spirulina, spirulina as a algae. So all that microorganisms list, including the bacteria, algae, yeast, and fungi. Now we'll see one by one. So dear students, spirulina as a algae, it's a free floating filamentous cyanobacterium. It is photosynthetic organism, can perform the process of the photosynthetic, and Arthrospira maxima, Arthrospira platensis, and these are the species and grow in the open pond or the basins. So this is that spirulina, and by this protein high proteinous SCP product as a pills can be produced, and that can be used as a food which is having the high nutritional value as a high protein. So this microorganism can be used by can be used to produce the product which is having the high protein value. So this is called single cell protein, because the microorganisms, their body is made up of a single cell generally, and that's why they are in this technique they are being used. That's why this is called single cell protein, and they produce the product, whatever they produce, it is having the high protein value. That's why this technique is called single cell protein. So one of the product you are observing here, OG chlorella. This chlorella is also used as a algae. Chlorella pyrenoidosa as a algae is used in this technique to produce this product which is having high quantity of the protein. One bacteria, Methylophilus methylotropus, a species of the Methylophilus which is motile by single flagella, and in addition to growth or methanol as a sole carbon source, growth also occur on the glucose. So it is, this bacteria is also used in this technique to produce the product which is having the high protein content. The microorganisms used in this single cell protein technique, it actually includes fungi, yeast, algae, and bacteria. So, dear people, fungi which is used in this technique is Aspergillus niger. You can remember it, or you can make a short note for your studies, so that it will be easier to you to study for the examination. And it is also important part, it can be asked in the examination for 1 mark too. So fungi Aspergillus niger is used in the single cell protein, as well as the Trichoderma viride is also used from the fungi as a microorganism. Yeast is also used like a Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and Candida utilis is also used as a yeast as a microorganism. Algae, as I told you, Spirulina species and Chlorella pyrenoidosa is also used in this technique as a algae as a microorganism to produce the pills and the other products which is having the high protein value. Some bacteria like the Methylophilus methylotropus and the Bacillus megasterium is also used as a bacteria. So you can remember all these microorganisms as a fungi, an or tv, by making its logic: yeast, sc and cu, algae, ss and cp, and bacteria, Methylophilus methylotropus, and bm, Bacillus megasterium. So these are the microorganisms used in this SCP, single cell protein technique, which is used to produce the different products which are enriched in protein contents. The advantages of this technique, dear students, it includes the different advantages like the microorganisms having the high rate of the multiplication. That means a large quantity of the biomass can be produced in comparatively a very short duration. The microbes can be easily genetically modified to vary the amino acids composition, and they have the high protein content, that is 43% to 85%. Thereafter, a broad variety of the raw materials, including the waste material, can be used as a substrate for the single cell protein, and this also helps in decreasing the number of the pollutants, as well as the SCP serve as a good source of the vitamins, amino acids, and minerals, and crude fibers, etc. So, in short, this is about this SCP, and about its uses and advantages, and about its different examples. So dear students, this is about this lecture. Thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe my channel, share it, like it, and comments for your queries, and press the bell icon so that you can get the instant notification of my new video. Thank you very much.